Good morning, traders. Now that the Fed is out of the way, we can clearly see consolidation coming on larger time frames. Today is May 5th, 2022, 8:35 a.m. on the East Coast, and this is my pre-market outlook and technical analysis for day trading the SPY. On the daily chart, I believe 432 is going to carry a lot of resistance. Now that the Fed is out of the way, it kind of cleared a lot of stuff up, so there's not much going on as for me, but I've gotten a lot of questions on my stance on the market mid to long term. In mid to long term, I am bearish for the longer term. My outlook for 2022 was bearish, closing below the 474.96 with a retracement of at least 418.3. In my opinion, this is just the start of a longer downturn lasting more than a few years. If you open up a longer term chart, the chart that I have up right now is a 10-year monthly. You can clearly see the Fed fuel bubble and a MACD at nosebleed levels. I am a big believer in cycles, and I believe the monthly MACD will have to cycle to the opposite end of the spectrum, which could take years to achieve. Okay, this is a much cleaner chart to look at. With this being a much cleaner chart to look at, and you see how high the MACD has gotten, like I say, I believe in cycles, so I believe that the MACD is going to have to cycle back down here, the opposite end of the spectrum, almost as high as we are. We should achieve the opposite of that on the lower end, and that kind of puts us at looking at this as just the beginning. We haven't even gotten warmed up yet, basically, as to where we're going with this sell side activity. So those are my longer term views as far as this Fed fueled rally that you can see here. I believe we're going to give all of that up and probably overshoot a bit. So again, those are my longer term views, where I think things are headed. So I hope that clears up the questions that were being asked as far as my stance on the market. And really, to this point, we've already pretty much achieved what I thought we would do for the year, but I do see a little more overshoot that will happen later on in the year. But we have a long way to go. All right, now that I've given my longer term views, let's get into the levels of the day. Starting on the resistance side, we have our jack resistance at 427 to 428, our queen resistance at 429 to the 430 area, and the king resistance between 432 and the 436 area. On the support side, we have our jack support at 425 down to the 424 area. Our queen support is 423 down to the 422 area, and king support is 420 to the 418. There's a case all the way down to 417 area for the morning, but I stopped it at 418. But don't be surprised if we touch down into 417. So those are the levels for the day. The thesis for today, the main thesis is bearish, closing below 429.06 with a projected target or low of between 423 and 417. The alternate thesis is bullish, closing above 429.06 with a projected or target high of about 429 all the way up to 436. The current channel we are in is from 425 all the way up to 453. That's the major channel. Now the minor channel being 425 up to 431. So I see us struggling today to get through that 431, 432 area today. All right, let me pull up our scenarios for the day. All right, our first scenario is going to be an expanded or expansive range day structure. We could look to set a decision area lower boundary around the jack or queen support area, and then giving us a bounce higher, crossing the previous close and closing above it, and then coming back down, chopping around, and then another try going back towards the previous close. That's our expansive range day structure, which is very similar to the downtrend day, with the difference being this blue line, which represents the previous close. Downtrend day, we're going to find resistance on that, on or before that line. Scenario number 2 is our rounded reversal day type structure. We could get a continued push lower toward the queen or king support area and find midday chop around either that queen or king support area before spending the same energy we use coming down to go back up the second half of the day. That's our rounded reversal day type structure. All right, our last scenario is going to be our trend day down. Forgive me, I hit the wrong button, which washed away all the levels, but we're going to put the basic diagram of how things are going to move. This is still the previous close, and on our trend day down, we usually get a rally headed back toward that previous close, but we find resistance on or before that previous close, and then start our downtrend for the morning. Downtrend usually goes till about the lunchtime hour, where we find our midday chop, and then the second half of the day usually begins with a head fake, looking to continue the downtrend of the morning, but at some point it's turned around and we get a small or slight rally into the close. So those are the scenarios for today. I hope this helps. I hope you enjoy, or don't hit me too bad for my outlook. I just follow the numbers. So again, hoping this helps. As always, know your risk. Wishing you a positive trading day. Have a great one.